You're watching Face to Face, live from the CSL studio. Your host, Nesta, Cann.
Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Face to Face. Yours truly, Nesta, Cann. And today we have a special guest in the studio, the legendary Lenny Green.
You know, Nesta, I don't understand legendary yet. So I don't know why you call me a legend. See,
you're a legend in the business.
Am I? I look at that's. I'm going to tell you who I look at as legendary.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're a young cat, so you may not know some of these names, but Frankie Crocker.
Yeah, I don't know some of those names. I'm only 30.
I understand. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I think I have a long way to go. I know one name you do know.
Who?
Cool DJ Red Alert.
Of course, everyone knows Red Alert.
Legend.
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame. I'm glad you said that. Red, if you're listening, you understand. Everyone knows you are a Hall of Famer for real. But so I have a hard time understanding legend when it's associated with me because I have such a long way to go.
Right. Okay. All right. So what have you been up to, Lenny Green? What's going on? What's
just
new?
Staying busy, Nesta. You know, staying busy and trying to expand the brand. I think, you know, when you get into radio, some people may take the assumption that everything is fine and peachy key. And when you get too comfortable in this game, just like if you get in any game, you get too comfortable, something goes left, you know? So just trying to stay relevant, trying to stay on top of things, trying to find out, you know, what ideal things women love. Because my show, The Quiet Storm, caters primarily to women. Not trying to alienate the fellas, by no means, by no means. But, you know, I just try to be what they would call a Renaissance man. And by being a Renaissance man, I just try to stay on top of the issues, try to stay on top of what is going on trendy-wise with men and women in relationships, what they likes, dislikes, uncertainty, situationships, you know, so it's busy.
Nice.
It's real busy.
Okay. What got you into radio? How did you get into the business? How did this all start?
Accident. Because my intention was never to be a radio personality. My intention was to be a singer. Oh. I was going to be Michael Jackson II. You just didn't know about it.
Wow.
So when I got to college, Kingsborough Community College in Brooklyn, that's when people were encouraging me, why don't you go to the radio station? And I blew it off for a good semester. When I went to the radio station, I was overwhelmed and I was excited to see what I saw. And I just fell in love with it almost instantaneously. And I started focusing more on that. And unfortunately, my schoolwork started to deplete. So I didn't finish school at that particular time, but it opened up a whole new arena for me. And that's when I initially fell in love with radio. And then I started paying attention to the legends that you didn't know about, more on the radio station here in New York. You know, because we had some great voices that have graced the airwaves, like a gentleman by the name of Jerry Bledsoe. He passed away as well. My mentor of The Quiet Storm, Vaughn Harper, he passed away not too long ago.
Right.
But these voices were so enriched and deep, and their minds were so widespread and focused and insightful, and that all captivated me. So I think with the people that I've listened to, once I fell in love with radio, I think a little piece of them is my makeup of Lenny Green today.
Right. Oh wow. Okay. I was going to ask you that. Did you go to school? But you just now mentioned
but
that.
not for radio. I went to school just to go to school, and surprisingly, my major was broadcast management at the time. But I had no intention. I thought maybe TV, because Kingsborough Community College is a great college in Brooklyn. It's a community college, unfortunately. I thought it was great. It was a 4-year school. But they specialize in TV and radio. Right. So I was singing. Coming out of high school, I was singing. All throughout my grammar years, I was singing. So I didn't think about radio, TV.
Right.
So when this came along, and that's God. You know, that's God kind of reshaping me and redirecting me and refocusing me and putting me in my path where I'm at right now.
Right. So we all know you for your voice. What age did you realize that you had this special voice and what you could do with it?
Nesta, I'm going to be honest with you. I never knew I had a voice like this. My mama, if you were ever to speak to my mom, she would always say my voice changed at 5 years old. Yeah. It was starting to change because I had enlarged tonsils. So I had my tonsils taken out at 5.
Oh, wow.
And that's when I fell in love with ice cream. To this very day. So Lenny is an ice cream lover. So I think the changing started at 5, and obviously going through puberty, you know, you go through a metamorphosis of a change. So I guess by it was different, man, because when I was singing, I was the first tenor. So I could hit the high notes.
Yeah.
But as I got older, I couldn't hit those high notes. So I guess that was the change again, you know. So I went through a few changes vocally, now that I think about it, that I had no idea I was going to get this voice. And the voice, as you call it, I guess it's a somewhat of a cultivation, because I started singing, took singing lessons,
right,
and then when I got involved with radio, paying attention to the voices that I heard and emulating them and trying to copy them to a small degree, I guess helped mold and shape me to the voice, is what you would say today.
Right, okay.
It's crazy.
So you've done many interviews. Do you remember your first interview?
Yes, I do.
Who was it with?
My first interview was in college, once I fell in love with that radio thing, with a young lady. You're in your 30s, so she's a phenomenal, if you get a chance, pull her up, phenomenal Latina singer from the Bronx. Her name is Angela Bofill. And she was called The Angel of the Night, and that was the first album. I remember she trekked all the way out to Kingsborough Community College. Now, Kingsborough Community College, ladies and gentlemen, is at the tip of Brooklyn, right?
Right.
Right by the water, right by Brighton Beach.
Right.
So she came all the way out there, and she gave me an interview. That was my first interview, and then after that I started interviewing a lot of different people. I bumped into Lionel Richie. He was with a group at the time called the Commodores. Bumped into Irene Cara. Irene Cara is an actress, singer who was part of the TV show at the time called Fame,
right,
which they made a different reboot of Fame with different actors. But it was those kind of folks that I was first getting to know. And then I befriended, or I should say a couple of folks in the music industry befriended me, Columbia Records and Arista Records. And they would just helping me out, you know, because I'm a college kid, you know, falling in love with radio. I ain't the big dog. I'm a little puppy, you know. So they would just throw certain people, like, hey, well, we got somebody coming to town. I think you need to sit down with them and interview them. So they got me started in my early interviews, and that's how I got the ball rolling.
Nice. How has R&B and hip-hop influenced you growing up?
Oh, man, both. You know, I'm old enough to know the beginning of hip-hop, and I've always loved R&B because that's what I grew up singing, R&B. Little did I know when I was a kid that my great-grandmother was really influenced. She actually had a scholarship to Howard University, and she was a great pianist. So music was definitely in my bloodline, but I thought I was going to be the next generation to take on the singing. Right. But I've loved R&B, and a lot of people ask me, well, how can you sit in a room for 5 hours every day and just listen to slow jams? Because, Nesta, I feel that I'm a hopeless romantic. Now, I'm not married yet, but I don't know how much of a romantic I am.
You don't have any kids?
I don't have no kids yet.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm looking for a candidate. Looking for a candidate. So, ladies, if you're of a certain age, no disrespect, but who can use and want, knock on my door, you know. But yeah, so it's been an interesting journey for me, and I think I got off course to what you asked me just a moment ago.
R&B, how's hip hop and R&B influenced you growing up?
It just influenced me, you know, living in the culture. Yeah, I'm a Brooklyn cat, born and raised in Brooklyn. Yeah, so living in the culture, living in the city that birthed hip hop. You know, I mean, I wasn't born in the Bronx, right? But I'm born in Brooklyn. And it was just that cosmic energy, man, that I was always around. I grew up in the hood. I grew up, in the projects. I was born in Crown Heights, raised in Flatbush, raised in East New York, Brooklyn, pink houses. You know, so I'm straight out of the projects. So when you come from that kind of background, especially living in New York, at the beginning of an era. Of a phenomenal era. I did not have a clue that hip-hop would have transcended and transformed and has grown to where it is right now. Right. Like right where it is now, it's phenomenal. It's
do you like where it is right now?
You know, there's different variations of it.
Right.
You know, you have the progressive, like, KRS-One, Common, very progressive, Nas. But I love J. Cole. I love Kendrick Lamar.
There we go.
But I also get into Ratchet. You know, I go with the Migos. Yeah, I go.
Migos. Okay.
I like Rick Ross. So I'm diverse.
So a lot of people don't like where hip hop is going right now with all the mumble raps and some of these hip hop artists, and especially the little younger guys coming up.
Yeah, it's gotten bubbled down a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because
compared to what we know in the 90s and 80s and 90s.
No question, no question.
Well, guys were actually rapping about something,
And that's, you have to blame the record labels because, when you have certain people from certain perspectives contribute to your creative and not allow you to do it naturally, it gets watered down. And it gets transformed and it gets packaged in a certain way. Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole, they're very progressive.
Right.
Especially Kendrick Lamar, he's very progressive and he doesn't dilute what his brand is.
Right.
And he speaks what he needs to speak on, and it's authentic, and we respect that. And the same with J. Cole. But when it gets down to that bubblegum stuff, it's good for a party.
Right.
But it ain't good just across the board. So I'm selective with my hip hop, just like I'm selective with R&B, because they say the same thing with R&B. R&B has gotten watered down. And again, it's different variations of R&B. Yeah. If you're just looking for one particular thing, a lot of people will not remember or won't even think about a Will Downing, who's a classy artist. They look at Charlie Wilson, he's the diverse artist. So you got so many different variations. So I look at that with a grain of salt. If you think one way and you just look at and pay attention to one particular thing when it comes to hip hop or R&B, you're going to definitely say it's watered down. So I think every genre of music is watered down, but it all depends on how much you like that genre of music. Because if you like that genre of music, I promise you that there is enough R&B, there is enough hip hop out here to satisfy your needs.
Nice. So we hear you talk a lot about candles and romance.
Nesta, I told you, I'm a hopeless romantic, man. So the candle thing, that's a very good question, and I'm going to share with you.
I remember I saw an interview on This Is 50, and he asked you about that one.
They did, and I don't know if I'm going to tell you the same story that I told them because it's the truth. So I can't digress away from the truth.
Right.
So I was in an older woman, relationship situation.
Okay.
So she was 12 years my senior. She was beautiful, and she was just got divorced. And I remember the first time I went over to her house, she swept me off my feet as soon as she opened up the door.
Oh, wow.
And
I know where this is going.
You have no idea. When she opened up the door, she was dressed in a beautiful lingerie, and the place was dark, but it was candles. I was like, OMG. Like, what in the hell is this? So romantic. The place smelled great. And I think that was my early influence in terms of being exposed to that. And romancing, she definitely taught me how to romance. So I became, I like to believe, a hopeless romantic. I like the ambiance. I believe ambiance creates a certain kind of a mood, creates a certain kind of mindset.
Right.
I think if we allow ourselves to relax and unwind a certain kind of way, we'll feel good the next day. Well, same thing when it comes to romancing. If you allow your partner to come into a space and the space is created in such a sensual and romantic setting, they'll appreciate the art of romancing. The problem today is there's not a lot of people who know how to romance.
Right.
We understand what the act is. That's a given. That's been going on for eons and centuries. The act is the act. Sex is sex. But what enhances it, what makes it special, is the romance. So depending on how you set up your moment, to set up your space, and that goes for both men and women. And the ladies today, some ladies they just want to get right into it.
Right.
But those who are really they're romantic, hopeless romantics, they like the foreplay. They like the calm before the storm.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? As I do with my show, I do the calm before the storm. So I think there's a process to lovemaking, and setting up the right ambiance creates that process in enhancing that special moment. Because otherwise, the moment is the moment. You're just like, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, you're right about that.
But let's make this special.
Let's make it special. So you like that whole rose petal kind of stuff?
I'm going to hook them up. I'm going to hook her up. Trust me. Look, I'll do the bubble bath. The whole nine. To the massage, the whole nine. We cap it off the right way. A little champagne.
Yeah, right.
You have fun with the moment, man.
Right.
Some fruit.
Yeah.
Feed each other. Play with each other. Yeah, it happens.
Definitely. With your voice, you ever thought about doing an album? Like how Barry White have done an album in the past?
If you're thinking about producing it, yeah.
Yeah.
Do it. But I just finished working with Full Force.
Okay.
And I did a song with them. And it didn't grow anywhere yet. but it's possible that we will continue to do something like that. Not in the singing capacity, but it's possible that I might consider doing something along that line, where I'm using my voice on a music level. Because I've done some things. I've done obviously voiceover work, and I've done what you're doing right now, interviews. But I want to utilize my gift that God has given me to multiple levels. So whatever doors open up, I'm open for it.
Let's talk about your you have an event coming up. Let people know about this event coming up.
Yeah, every summer I have a series of yacht parties. This is like probably my 5th year going in, and we kicked it off Memorial Day weekend, and it's going throughout the entire summer. Only one a month. I have my birthday celebration. One of my radio colleagues, my radio brother, David Levy, we celebrate his birthday as well, and we also do a little extra flavoring of another Caribbean night in September, because there's a little Caribbean blood in me as well.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's your background?
Well, my background, I was born
here,
born
right.
in Brooklyn, but family is Bajan, and we have some Jamaicans in our family. So
right on, same thing. I'm born here. My mom's from Barbados.
Oh, and I love Barbados, man.
Have you been back?
What? I have been back on many occasions.
Okay.
I try to go. I haven't been for Carnival.
For crop over?
Yeah, I haven't been for crop over
in August,
in a long time. Long time. Because the last time I went, it started to rain. We were in the stadium.
Okay, yeah.
And it started to rain. I was like, oh, no, this is not good. We got to and because I was traveling with my mom, because I had my mom come with me at the time. So
your mom or your father from Barbados?
Grandfather.
Okay, grandfather, yeah. Okay.
So I love Caribbean music, Caribbean food, Caribbean women. It goes across the board. It just goes across the board.
Oh, nice. What was it like transitioning from Kiss FM to WBLS?
It was happy.
It was happy
because everyone wants to keep a job. It was a scary moment, because unfortunately we didn't know at Kiss FM that this was going to happen until.
Yeah, because I used to listen to Kiss FM a lot, and when I turned it on, I hear them sports. And I think
right.
ESPN is now
Correct.
on
You're
that station
right.
now.
Right. That's owned by
channel.
Disney.
Disney. Oh wow.
So we were all surprised, and I remember the day like yesterday, and the bosses came to me and they said, "So Kiss FM is going to be dissolved by Monday," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Wow. So, but they said, but the nice thing about it that WBLS wants you to come over. So that was you don't understand.
So a couple of people had, they released a couple of people from off there.
They did.
Yeah.
But the first people that went from Kiss over to WBLS was myself and Shayla.
Okay.
Who does middays now on WBLS. So it was a scary moment, and who wants to be unemployed?
Right.
And I've tasted that in radio.
But they can't get rid of Lenny Green. They got to bring that talent over.
No, brother, this is a business, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, what everyone just hears is the music and us on the radio. Mm-hmm. Behind the doors, in the other part of the offices, it's like a regular business, like any other business. So they do cuts, they add people, take away people all the time. And we, as personalities, unfortunately, we live on the edge of ratings a lot.
Wow.
So ratings fluctuate; they go up and down, and you just pray that you maintain a certain course and people like you, and you have to work. And when you get here, if you're blessed to come into a city like New York, and I'm blessed, I am so blessed and happy that I'm fortunate to be here in New York. You want to do everything within your power, at least I know I do, to make sure you exhaust yourself to the level of hopefully getting to know the audience. And we got over 9 million people in the tri-state area of New York, but you have to get out and meet people. And radio has helped me do that in great ways, because I was a shy kid. I didn't really speak up in classrooms when I was growing up. So radio helped me to become more of an extrovert and get out and become more social and get involved with it. So I think what you have to do is, appreciate the craft and just grind above a normal level. If you've been given an opportunity to do something, your job is to exhaust it to the fullest potential where you need to go. And that's what I try to do every time with my career. So we can't stay in one box. You have to be open-minded. You have to work outside the box. You have to do things creatively that still enhances your brand, but at the same time makes you grow.
Right. So you had Kissing After Dark on
on Kiss.
On Kiss.
To the Quiet Storm.
Quiet Storm. Oh, that's why you changed over
Same
to Quiet
thing.
Storm. Okay.
Well,
same thing, but different name. Yeah, you couldn't keep.
Well, you couldn't keep it.
Yeah.
But Kiss always had Kissing After Dark.
Yeah.
And BLS always had Quiet Storm.
Oh, really?
But same kind of show.
Oh, okay.
Just different names.
Different names, right?
That's
yeah,
all.
yeah.
But the Quiet Storm, to be honest with you, it started. The original Quiet Storm started in Washington D.C. With a gentleman who unfortunately passed away. His name was Melvin Lindsay. But have you heard of a woman by the name of Kathy Hughes?
Sounds familiar.
Well, Kathy Hughes is one of the most highly respected, legendary, very much still alive owners of TV and radio stations across the country.
Wow.
When you look at TV One, that's Kathy Hughes. Radio One, that's Kathy Hughes. Radio One Syndication, that's Kathy Hughes. Kathy Hughes was really responsible in putting Melvin Lindsay on the radio in Washington, D.C., and that birthed the Quiet Storm. Obvious. And then it just morphed into different places around the country, especially up here in New York. So we didn't know. I knew about, when I was growing up, Vaughn Harper.
Vaughn Harper, yeah, I've heard of Vaughn Harper.
You gentlemen know, now your generation knows about Lenny Green, thank God. But there was always a Northeast, up here in New York, a Quiet Storm as well as D.C. But the history of where the Quiet Storm originally started was Washington.
Before we go, I'm asking some questions, rapid fire.
Okay, rapid fire.
Okay?
Let's do it. I'm ready.
If you weren't doing radio, what would you be doing today?
Playing football.
Football, really?
Yeah.
You're into sports as well?
Football first.
Who's your team?
All right, don't beat me up on this. Giants first, Jets second. And don't say I can't have two teams. And when they're out of the picture, Pittsburgh Steelers. And the reason why Pittsburgh Steelers, Mean Joe Green was the first green that I saw in someone's jersey. And I said, wow,
Green.
is he related to me? Green.
Yeah.
Number 75, Mean Joe Green.
What did you think about the Giants pick of Daniel Jones, the quarterback?
I wanted Colin Kaepernick. That's what I want.
You wanted Colin Kaepernick?
Yep. I think Colin still has it in him.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we can
Definitely.
win. I know we can win a championship with him.
Yeah.
But, we'll see. I'm not going to say anything beyond that because I'll get myself in trouble. Yeah.
Out of all the celebrities you've interviewed, who's your most favorite?
That's an
tough
unfair,
one.
that's an unfair question. There's so many favorites. All of them are my favorites. I could tell you iconic-wise.
Right.
Iconic.
Iconic. Who have you worked with?
Well,
I know a favorite one that I like that I see you work with all the time, Babyface. Love Babyface.
I don't work with them all the time.
Well, I've seen you take,
Yeah. From time to time, we all have that moment. But and that would be iconic for you. I understand.
Yeah,
Because,
90s, right.
90s, I got it. But iconic for me would be Isaac Hayes, Barry White, Al Green, Bobby Womack. Those are iconic. Then you go to the next tier of generation. You got your Mary J. Blige's, you got the Braxtons, Neo. It just goes on and on. It goes on and on. I've been fortunate to have a lot of great interviews.
Give me a DJ you really enjoy working with throughout the years.
Oh wow!
You can give me a couple of them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fortunate and blessed to work with. I've worked with, and I still work with Gary Bird. Gary Bird is an iconic radio personality. I've worked with Johnny Allen. I worked with Fred Buggs, known as Bugsy. I worked with Cool DJ Red Alert. I worked with Chuck Chill Out. I worked with Funkmaster Flex. I worked with, so it's Shayla, Ken Webb, Jeff Fox.
Kid Capri? Have you worked with Kid Capri before?
No, I wasn't working in New York. I knew he worked on radio in New York.
Right.
I wasn't accepted into New York. I was working in those other little markets. No one was paying me no mind trying to learn the radio game. But now I know Kid Capri and have the utmost respect for Kid Capri. But those are the ones I've worked with the most. And the ones that I work with right now that's still high. I mean, Gary Bird is still on the radio with me. How can I forget about Dr. Bob Lee? Dr. Bob Lee has been around for ages. And to have listened to him prior to working in New York and now to work with Dr. Bob Lee, who comes on right after me. He has a #1 show on the overnights, and he hosts the city now when everyone is still working in the city. This is probably one of the only cities in the country, I think, that really operates like at full throttle from midnight till 6 in the morning, and he does a wonderful job just holding the city down like that.
Right. If you had a chance to do one event and you need one of these three individuals for your headliner, who are you picking? Marvin Gaye, Teddy Pendergrass, Barry White.
Oh, that's not fair, man. Come on,
you need one. You got to give me one.
Marvin Gaye, Teddy, or Barry White?
Mm-hmm.
Damn. Well, I gotta put Teddy out the picture.
Mm-hmm.
I've been at two concerts. I've been at a Marvin Gaye concert. I've been at a Barry White concert. Damn. I'm gonna go with Marvin Gaye.
Marvin Gaye.
Yeah, that's hard though.
Okay. You're officially off the hot seat.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it, man.
Before we wrap it up real quick, anyone who's just trying to get into the business, any piece of advice you would give them?
Yeah, I would tell them strongly study the craft. But more importantly, study those who have walked before you. A lot of folks that are getting into the game, they just think about themselves. And it's not a bad thing to think about yourself, but realize that somebody probably may have done what you want to do before you have.
Right.
And that's what I did. I studied those. Once I fell in love with this radio thing, I started paying attention to those who were doing the radio thing.
Right.
So if you're thinking about doing TV, pay attention to those who have done it. Pay attention to those who are doing it right now. You cannot be them. You are only going to be yourself. But you can learn how they structured things. You can learn technique. I used to watch Larry King and Bryant Gumbel, and these guys were on TV, and I thought they were great interviewers. There was another interview that I just found out. He's much older now, but he's still doing interviews. His name is Dan Rather, another news guy,
right,
that did some great interviews. But I like their technique, and I love what you're doing to me right now.
Yeah,
I love interviewing people. I love trying to understand the technique of different interviewers. So if you're going to focus on anything in life, focus on those who have done it and learn how you can do it better. So learn that and then work on yourself, because you can observe one person or several people and you can pay attention to that. But if you don't work on yourself,
right,
if you don't really get in and try to do certain things on your own,
right,
you're not going to grow to the levels that you need to grow. So you have to study those who have walked before you and then work on your craft, because faith without works is dead.
Yeah.
So you can be gifted with the gift, but it has to be just like a plant has to be watered in order to grow. You have to be watered with the right ingredients in order for you to grow. You can't just grow. Okay? And you can grow, but not grow in the right way. And the bottom line is that you want to grow in the right way.
Words from the legendary Lenny Green.
Well, you know what? I'll take that legend word for today. But Nesta, let me just thank you, man.
Yeah.
And I know you're doing your thing in a great, tremendous way. And I pray that you continue to grow and blossom to the levels that you want to go into, because you have definitely the potential in doing that, as we all do. So thank you for this opportunity, allowing me to come onto your show. I know I was supposed to be here once before, but something seemed to have happened. But I'm honored by this experience and thankful for this opportunity, man. So continue blessings in this podcast, and as you continue to grow into bigger arenas, don't forget about Lenny Green.
No problem.
Even if you need an announcer, to announce you, I'm available for the job.
I got you. But before we go, you have to let people know how to get in contact with you. Social
really
media.
easy. Social
website,
media.
Yeah.
Lenny Green, at Lenny Green on Instagram and Twitter. I'm on Facebook, but I'm trying to work out my problem on Facebook right now in terms of trying to find which page I can use. But there is a page called The Quiet Storm with Lenny Green on Facebook, and there's a regular Lenny Green page as well. So please follow me on all those streams as well. The LennyGreen.com website is on the way. As soon as I can get a photo shoot done, I'm down to the photo shoot level, because I have pictures like 100 years ago. So, by me being 89, I have to get new photos done, because the old ones are the old ones. So as soon as the photos are done, the website will be up this summer.
And you're on, what days of the week you're on radio?
Monday through Thursdays between 7 p.m. and midnight Eastern Standard Time. And if you're traveling around throughout
WBLS,
country,
right?
WBLS.com. Please lock us in and check us out, and tell your friend to tell a friend.
Pleasure having you on the show, Lenny.
The honor, Nesta. Thank you,
right,
brother.
No problem.
Till next time.
All right. This wraps up another episode of Face to Face. Yours truly, Nesta Cann. Take care and God bless.
Blessings.